I love theater, and I love watching it. But but there's it's a really it's a tough profession to survive in. You know, they don't pay enough for it, and unless you get, like, you know, you're in the producers, it's you know it really is. And the sad thing is, it's become more of a training ground for the rest of the entertainment industry. It's where people train. You know, it's not a really it's not as much a back and forth medium as it is in England. You know, and then it's like, you know, and they say, well, you know, you kind of do what you think you should do. Like, you go to Yale and you think, well, that's half the battle. I'm coming out with a Yale degree, so then they'll pay attention. You know, but you look for grants to write. And the problem with theater is, which is different from television, is when you're looking for a grant, it becomes grantsmanship. It's a whole other profession that's grown up. You know, there are guys who I know I knew two tremendous directors at Yale who never got a break and two of the other guys were really good at getting grants, and these two guys couldn't do it. They were much better directors. It's just sad. I mean, I don't know how I don't know how you solve it. But what makes theater really much more interesting to me than television is theater is constantly over time created and recreates itself, because it is a strictly oral culture. I work with a young actor, and I tell the young actor something that I learned from somebody else, and then he tells somebody else, and it's the way it works. And that's the really great part of it. I think it's the best part of it. No. And the best thing about theater is that it's that makes it more interesting than television. I mean, granted, you could be on a show and da-da-da-da, and you become a family and yada, yada, yada. There's still nothing more fascinating than working, it is for my money, on a play, and you get it up and you do it 5 weeks and then it's gone. You can't beat that. Because if it sucks, it's gone. And if it was good, you know, you remember it as even better. So Yale was not fun, but I went to school with really great writers and really good actors, and that's where I learned most of the stuff that I knew about theater was from the people I worked with. And then, but I continued to do stand-up. I just continued to do it, and totally, and I was awful. I wasn't funny at all, and that I thought, and I had major performance anxiety, but I just kept doing it because I had no other options, and I just thought, you know, eventually this will work out, and I was somehow fascinated with it. And I went on from there to move to New York City, and I ran a club there, and what we did was I've always thought I came out of school with the fact that nobody is ever going to pay you to do what it is you want to do. Okay. The good news is, in our society, you can do whatever you want to do, and you can. You can pick anything you want to do. But if you pick something you really want to do, nobody's going to pay you for it unless you really like it. So if you really want to do theater, you really have to just go do it. Nobody's going to, you know. So I would beg, borrow, and steal. So I formed theater companies, and then when I got to New York, I found a space with two other friends, and we started doing plays with at least we did 2 new one acts a week. In a space in which we didn't use sets. And I'm in New York City, so there's like 1 million people who were doing theater, and what we did was just tap into that community. And from all over the place, we got writers and actors, and they would come in and do shows. Then we did music, and I introduced every show. We did 8 shows a week. I made enough money to survive, and I did this for 8 years, but I had nothing in the bank, and I didn't care because I was doing exactly what I wanted to do, and it was, and it probably will be the most exciting time of my life. I mean, the people who were working there were unbelievable. The people who started out there were extraordinary. But what was really interesting was, while all that was going on, I started the thing basically because I was the producer, and so I could produce my own plays, because it would take you'd have to really hate yourself to run somewhere and go read your own play and go, well, I'm not going to do this play. You suck. So I would do my own work. This is nice. So I ended up running the space, and then before every show I would introduce the plays. And during that time of introducing the plays, over the 8 years that I did that, that in combination with every Saturday night I would do stand-up, and it turned into a career.